Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. I'm Sylvain Attal reporting today from Tel Aviv. We're at the Israeli-French summit, I should say, or forum on democracy, and my guest, my special guest, I should say, is Zipi Livni, former foreign affairs minister and head of the Kadima party, the opposition party. Thanks for being on France 24.
Thank you.
Very dramatic hours for Israel, obviously, for the Middle East after the deadly operation on the ship trying to force the blockade on Gaza. Yesterday, the Security Council condemned Israel for disproportionate use of force, which is quite unusual for the Security Council, which means that the United States didn't oppose the veto.
But it's not unusual for the international community to criticize Israel on a daily basis.
Don't you think, for example, the first move, for example, would be official excuse for Israel for what happened and the loss of lives?
We are sorry for the loss of life. I said so, but also the Prime Minister said so, because this was not the intention. I think that nobody thinks that the idea was to stop and kill them. This was not the idea at all. The idea was to stop. We offered them.
That's what happened.
This is what happened, and we deeply regret for loss of life and casualties.
But no excuses, just regret.
I don't know what is the difference. I mean, when somebody lost his life on this ship, we feel sorry, we regret. This was not the intention. But I would like to express something which is not less important. They asked and they were offered to transfer any humanitarian aid to Gaza through Israel. It was clear that this was not their intention. When the Israeli soldiers went on the ship, they were severely beaten by them. They felt, the soldiers, that it's going to be a lynch there. Hundreds of people attacked few soldiers and beat them almost to death.
That's going to be my point.
This was the reaction, and for self-defense. And the results are very difficult, but this was the situation.
Okay. From your perspective, from an Israeli perspective, do you think that the operation was well conducted from a military point of view?
I don't know. I don't know. It's too early for me to know. Basically, I know, and I don't want to enter into details because I think that the real question is not about the military operation, whether it was well conducted or not. I fully trust the Israeli soldiers, any Israeli soldier.
But you're an opposition leader. Your role is to oppose. I mean, we were talking about democracy.
My role is to support the values of Israel, to represent the state of Israel, and to criticize the government when things are wrong. And even for criticism, there is also timing. And for now, I think that the focus should be, in order to make Israel being more understood in the world, it's the need to understand or to explain few things. And it's not about the military operation, and I'll find my time on each and every event to criticize if I want the government or this. But there is one thing that I will never criticize, and this is the values of the Israeli soldiers.
Well, the soldiers are not in question. Maybe the one who gave the orders.
The soldiers were questioned by the international community. There was the appearance at first that they went, they went on this ship and they killed civilians. This was not the situation. From each and every soldier, the situation was a self-defense situation. I personally also support the need to stop ships coming to Gaza Strip, not because I don't want to give Gaza humanitarian aid. The crossings are open for humanitarian aid, but because their intention was not to help the people in Gaza, but to make a political statement, and they wanted this confrontation. Well, I don't blame, I don't think that they wanted to see dead people on the ship as well.
Don't you think that this political statement was at least acceptable and better than this confrontation, this kind of confrontation?
At the end of the day, when people lost their life, it is more than a demonstration. But they asked to stop. They asked to transfer any humanitarian aid through Israel. Israel warned them that this can be violent.
To make it short, you don't think that it was a mistake to try to stop them by any means?
I don't want to enter into different situation or to different possibilities to stop the ship. I don't know. I was not there. As you said, I'm in the opposition. I was not on the cabinet table. I don't know what are the alternatives, what were the alternatives, but I deeply support the need to continue delegitimize Hamas. This is the international community's not only values but decisions. I would like to remind you and the others that the quartet decided not to give legitimacy to Hamas unless they accept the right of Israel to exist, renounce violence and terrorism, and accept peace treaties between Israel and the Palestinians.
The question today, because of this operation, is more the humanitarian aid, the blockade. For example, let's put it that way. Yesterday, although as I said it was unusual for the Security Council to condemn Israel, the resolution was quite mild. It has only for an investigation, didn't say international investigation, an investigation. Do you support an Israeli investigation commission?
I think that anyway, we need, not for the sake of the international community, we need to check ourselves, and this is something that we are doing. So this is not the real question. And I think that at the end of the day, after this really very problematic event, not only to Israel, but the appearance was something which was quite problematic, and the fact that people died there, it is problematic. But at the end of the day, the real question is a question that I would like to put to the international community. Does the international community want to give legitimacy to Hamas? Does the international community want to open a situation in which Hamas control in Gaza Strip is being legitimized?
The international community doesn't ask for legitimacy for the Hamas, it asks for the levi of the blockade. Do you think that...
The meaning is giving legitimacy to Hamas and his control in Gaza. Now, those who are going to pay the price are going to be the Palestinians. It's not an Israeli problem, because when Hamas is getting stronger, our partners for peace treaty, the national movement of the Palestinians, Mahmoud Abbas, Salam Fayyad, they're going to pay the price. Because if it is legitimate and you have normal normal government in Gaza Strip that uses terror and the world accepts this, so why to make peace with Israel?
So in one word, you support the continuation of the blockade?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Another question, key question for me is Turkey, the relationship between Israel and Turkey, which said that the operation was tantamount for state terrorism. Very harsh word from the Turkish. The relationship with Turkey was from a great strategic importance for Israel. It deteriorated a great deal during the last months. What's your explanation for that?
Okay, just to say that when I said that I support the blockade, it doesn't relate to humanitarian needs. There is no shortage of food or humanitarian needs in Gaza Strip. This is open. The idea is not to make the Palestinians starving for food. This is not the idea. It's not a collective punishment. Need to be clear.
Turkey.
On Turkey and the relations. It's not only the relations between Israel and Turkey, but Turkey itself. In the region, we see now division between extremists and moderates. We see Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah on one side, and on the other, we see Israel plus the moderates or the pragmatic Palestinian leadership, Jordan, Egypt, Gulf states, and others, that for them, Iran and what Iran represents is the enemy, and Hamas is being supported by Iran and represent the same
where do you
agenda
rank
of hatred.
Turkey today? And
Turkey need to choose. This is exactly my point. Turkey need to choose whether it's part of the camp of extremism or part of the camp of moderates. After deciding this, it is clear to me that Turkey cannot support Hamas. It's not being in favor of Israel. It's doing the right thing and according to the place that Turkey wants to see itself. Nowadays, Turkey prefers to sit on the fence and to play different games on different
somewhere behind the operation.
I think that
Turkish government.
Yes, Turkey supported these activists, unfortunately, but I think that there were different processes that led the Turkish government to this position. One is the understanding that the EU is not going to be in the near future or is not going to accept Turkey in the near future. And the other is the changes in the region. And I think that all of us need to work with Turkey in order to convince Turkey that it's not the conflict is not Israel and the Palestinians. I mean, there is a conflict between Israel and the Palestinians, but in order to make peace with the Palestinians, we need to support the moderates and not to give legitimacy to Hamas.
Okay, Mrs. Livni, one last question regarding the interior policy. This tragedy, of course, is a serious blow for the peace process, even though it may be only temporarily. But there's a lot of people in Israel that says that it's time now for a big coalition of the three big parties, means the Likud, the Labour, and the Kadima, on a strong peace agenda. Are you ready for that?
Kadima has a strong peace agenda. The Israeli Prime Minister decided to form the current coalition according to his views, values, and what the platform of his party before the elections. There are some changes, but yet it needs to be tested according to action and realities and decision making, and not just by few words that said after the elections.
So it's not time now.
No. By the way, I want to ask you: do you have? Did Netanyahu ask you to ask me this question?
No,
because he doesn't want us to be part of the coalition, so it's his decision. If I will be asked, I'm going to think about it according to the progress on the peace process, because it's more than peace process. We need to make decisions in order to end the conflict, and this is the real test of Netanyahu and the current coalition. And basically, it's his personal decision. When he decides to make peace, Kadima and personally, Mohammed, we are going to support this outside the government, inside the government, even if this is the last thing that I do on my political life in order to achieve peace. Because the reason for me to be in politics is to achieve peace between Israel and the Palestinians.
Okay, Mrs. Livni, thank you, merci beaucoup. Thank you. That's all for the interview, and stay tuned as more news to come on France 24.